Buckle up for a no-nonsense, high-voltage showdown as we pit the Tesla Model S Plaid against the Porsche Taycan in a luxury EV battle that blends brain-melting speed, refined craftsmanship, real-world range, cutting-edge software, and the kind of brand identity that turns a daily drive into a headline. From the very first throttle squeeze, these two flagships reveal radically different philosophies. Tesla's Plaid is a straight-line monster built around brutal efficiency and software first thinking, while the Taycan is Porsche to the core, obsessed with balance, repeatability, and driver feel. So today we'll dive deep into performance, charging, battery tech, chassis dynamics, interior experience, infotainment, driver assist, ownership costs, brand cachet, and which one makes more sense for you depending on how and where you drive, how often you charge, and what you value most in a luxury EV. Let's kick off with the headline act, speed. Because nothing announces the electric era quite like a launch that compresses your chest and deletes the horizon. The Model S Plaid's tri-motor setup serves up truly outrageous thrust that feels like it bends physics, delivering instant torque across the band and a shove that doesn't taper as speeds climb. If your personal definition of supercar is measured in quarter-mile times and autobahn-style surges, the Plaid is the EV equivalent of a railgun. And the experience is as much software as hardware. Torque vectoring mapped in milliseconds, traction logic learning with each microslip, and that signature Tesla power delivery that feels unfiltered yet eerily composed. The Taycan counters with a different flavor of speed that emphasizes precision over shock value, leaning on a 2-speed rear gearbox and painstaking thermal management to produce repeated hard launches without drama, a staccato punch that snaps up to speed and then settles into an iron-fisted flow. And while the raw numbers can favor Tesla in a drag race, the Porsche is about how those numbers happen, the way the pedal maps, the consistency lap after lap, and the way the car remains telepathic when the road gets technical. Speaking of technical, chassis tuning is where Porsche brings the thunder. The Taycan steering is a masterclass in feedback for an electric car, weighty, granular, and confidence-injecting, paired with a low seating position, rear axle steering, when equipped, adaptive air suspension, and a body control that stays collected when the asphalt ripples or the radius tightens. It's the kind of platform that shrinks around you at speed and makes you want to hunt apexes, not just traffic lights. The Model S Plaid has made strides here, revised dampers, better bushings, clever torque vectoring, but it's still tuned more for road trip comfort and undeniable stability at absurd speeds than for the intimate, fingertip fidelity that defines a great backroad car. And while the latest iterations handle impressively for a big sedan, you'll feel the difference when you string together a series of off-camber corners or hit a late braking zone on a track day. Range and efficiency form the next battleground, and here Tesla leverages years of systems integration and a ruthless focus on aerodynamics and software to post excellent real-world efficiency. The Plaid can eat miles with startling frugality given its performance envelope, meaning long highway stints become fewer stop affairs, and the trip planner, battery preconditioning, and thermal logic all combine to make high-speed cruising remarkably simple. Porsche doesn't chase the same raw range numbers but counters with astonishing charging behavior thanks to an 800-volt architecture that allows seriously high peak charging rates and, more importantly, robust charging curves, so you spend less time tapering and more time actually taking on energy. In practice, that means the Taycan can feel like it overachieves on a road trip with the right high-power stations, hopping from 10 to 80% briskly and consistently, while the Tesla wins when chargers are sparse or the distances are massive, underlining the philosophical split. Tesla maximizes how far you go, Porsche maximizes how quickly you're back on the road when you stop. Of course, none of that matters if the charging network lets you down, and this is where Tesla's supercharger ecosystem has historically dominated, reliable, plentiful, and tightly integrated, making planning and execution a one-tap experience. That said, the charging landscape is evolving quickly, with more networks adopting higher standards, better payment integration, smarter routing, and, crucially, more sites that support high-voltage, high-amp sessions that the Taycan loves. So while Tesla still offers the most seamless plug-and-charge story in many regions, the practical gap is narrowing in areas with dense, modern infrastructure. If you're in a region with sparse high-power non-Tesla chargers, the Plaid remains a road trip king. But if you live near robust 800-volt friendly stations, the Taycan's speed and consistency at the plug are a genuine ace. Slide inside, and the divergence continues. The Model S cabin embraces minimalism, dominated by a large center display that runs Tesla's snappy, game console smooth UI with native video streaming, rich navigation, energy visualizations, and a surprisingly deep feature set from Sentry mode to integrated dashcam to dog mode. The rear screen entertains passengers, the audio system slaps with clarity and headroom, and the flat floor plus hatchback practicality give the Plaid a quietly enormous daily use advantage for luggage, strollers, golf bags, and Costco runs. The controversial yoke versus wheel debate has cooled as conventional wheels became available again, but either way, the driving position is relaxed, visibility is good for a big car, and the software-first ethos pervades everything. Updates add features, tweak dynamics, and refine UX over time. The Taycan, meanwhile, feels handcrafted.
With materials that speak Porsche fluently, supple leather or sustainable alternatives, tight panel fit, precise switchgear, and a seating position that drops you into the car rather than perches you above it. The instrument cluster is crisp and configurable, the center screen and optional passenger display keep things modern without overwhelming you, and the haptic logic has matured to feel intentional rather than gimmicky. Cabin isolation is excellent. Ride quality on air springs is controlled yet plush at a cruise, and the whole experience whispers Gran Turismo with a German accent. Infotainment and software philosophy are perhaps the biggest cultural divide. Tesla's system feels like living software. Fast boots, quick map renders, voice commands that generally behave, clever Easter eggs, and continuous over-the-air evolutions that can transform ownership. It's the Phone OS playbook applied to a car, with the benefits and the occasional growing pains that entails. Porsche's system has evolved into a responsive, handsome suite with wireless smartphone integration, better routing logic than early versions, and car settings that feel well organized. But it's still more traditional and conservative, emphasizing stability and a luxury brand's measured cadence for updates. If you love living at the frontier of features and you're comfortable with an interface that changes over time, Tesla will feel like home, while if you want a polished, premium HMI that evolves carefully and predictably, Porsche's approach may be more your speed. Driver assist and safety tech add another layer. Tesla's advanced assist can be remarkably capable on well-mapped highways and urban arterials, with lane centering and adaptive cruise that reduce fatigue, and the Visualization Plus prompts make it engaging to monitor. However, capability can vary by region and regulatory environment, and while continual updates bring improvements, the system still demands an attentive driver. Porsche's assistance suite feels conservative but robust. Lane keep, adaptive cruise, traffic jam assist, designed to bolster the driver rather than to redefine the role of one, and it slots into the brand's ethos of confidence without spectacle. When it comes to track use and heat management, both cars have evolved significantly. Tesla's track mode adds insight and adjustability, lets you play with balance and regen, and the Plaid's recent cooling and brake upgrades have improved repeatability. Yet on a punishing circuit, the Taycan's thermal endurance and brake feel tend to shine brighter, bolstered by Porsche's motorsport DNA, consistent pedal modulation, and, when optioned, serious braking hardware. In a dozen hot laps, the Taycan often feels like it's simply happier being flogged, shrugging off heat cycles and rewarding clean lines, while the Plaid can start strong, post eye-opening times, and then ask for just a bit more sympathy to keep everything in its sweet spot. Practicality is a tale of two body styles. The Model S's hatchback and cavernous cargo hold make it a stealth wagon for families and road trippers, with generous rear legroom and easy access storage. The Taycan's trunk is usable, and the Sport Turismo/Cross Turismo variants add real versatility with a long roof profile that many enthusiasts adore, but the standard sedan's rear headroom and cargo aperture are tighter. For daily usability, groceries, gear, kids, the Tesla's packaging advantage is undeniable, while the Taycan counters with seat support that keeps you fresh after long stints and cabin quality that stays special every time you climb in. Ownership and costs can't be ignored. Tesla's simpler maintenance regimen and wide service footprint keep running costs fairly predictable, and efficiency advantages can shave real money on energy over high mileage. Porsche ownership brings the brand's premium on service and options, but also a tradition of strong residuals for well-spec'd cars and a dealer experience that many owners cherish. Insurance varies by market and driver profile, but as a luxury performance EV buyer you'll want to compare quotes because repair costs on both, given aluminum structures, sensors, and specialized components, can be high. Still, each brand has matured parts availability and repair pathways compared to the earliest EV days, and that peace of mind matters when you're investing at this level. Sound and feel, those intangible textures, differ starkly. The Tesla is subdued with a futuristic whir, the powertrain mostly silent as wind and tire noise take center stage at speed, while the Taycan pipes in a carefully crafted electric soundscape that rises with load and speed to give your ears a sense of what your right foot is doing. Neither can replicate the mechanical romance of a flat 6 or V8. But both create their own sonic identity, and Porsche's is tuned for emotion while Tesla's feels engineered for calm, ride-quality mirrors that split as well. Plaid is long-legged and smooth on the highway. Porsche is buttoned down without being harsh, with the bandwidth to soak broken pavement when comfort mode is engaged. Styling is subjective, yet meaningful. The Model S remains sleek and slippery, a shape honed by aero discipline and subtle updates, communicating modernity without shouting. The Taycan is a sculpture. Hips, haunches, a low hood, a stance that reads 911 Saloon, and in wagon form it turns into one of the best-looking practical cars on sale, so if your heart buys with eyes. Porsche leans heavily on desirability while Tesla bets on timeless minimalism and the power of understatement. So which should you choose? If you crave unmatched straight-line drama, supreme range for vast stretches between stops, a software-rich cabin that evolves after you buy it, and a gigantic hatchback that swallows life whole, the Tesla Model S Plaid is your natural pick, an engineering sledgehammer wrapped in a sleek silhouette. If your soul wants a driver's car with world-class steering, repeatable performance, exquisite build quality, lightning-quick 800-volt charging sessions, and a badge that carries generations of motorsport cred, the Porsche Taycan is your car, a precision instrument that makes every journey feel tailored. In truth, both are triumphs of the EV age, and the best choice maps to your priorities. Road trip dominance and tech-forward living versus driver feel and timeless craftsmanship. Now, as you consider your own routes, charging access, passengers, and preferences, hit the comments and tell us where you stand in this luxury EV battle, whether you're Team Plaid's warp-speed futurism or Team Taycan's surgically precise grand touring. And if you found this deep dive helpful, subscribe for more performance EV comparisons, ownership tips, charging guides, and the kind of real-world testing that separates spec sheet legends from everyday heroes, because in the end that's what matters. How a car makes your life better every single day, on a Monday commute, on a Saturday canyon run, and on that once-a-year cross-country haul, where the winner isn't just faster or fancier, but the one that matches you.